Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. We're going to begin with our land acknowledgement as we always do. We acknowledge, honor, and respect that much of the land we are gathered on is part of traditional unceded territories of many Indigenous peoples of Canada. Welcome to another episode of Veg Networking Canada, where vegan plant-based companies connect and collaborate. We have an amazing special guest with us today. He is an entrepreneur and accountant working with private corporations and families in Western Canada and Asia. With a strong background in tax planning and business consultation, he is an avid proponent of giving back to the community by way of nonprofit volunteering with a depth of treasurer experience. Veg Networking Canada is pleased to welcome the founder of Truspect Consulting Incorporated. Welcome, Hayson Chan.
Hey, Justin. Hey, Sandra. Hello, guys. Thanks for having me.
We're so happy to have you here. So before we jump into your vegan origin story, why don't you just quickly tell us what is the concept behind the name Truspect?
I think when I, incorporate the business, I try to come up with like a unique name, and the core value that we all believe is trust and respect. Because in my industry, we work with entrepreneurs, individuals, people every day. So without trust and respect, it would actually destroy the relationship. So I think about, I need the syllable to come up with a word. So I basically combine the two words into Truspect, and yeah, there we go. So, people like the name and they think, oh, it's kind of unique and kind of cool.
It's a great name, and we all love a great play on words. And a lot of people don't even know that the origin of the word vegan is basically vegetarian, cutting out the middle, and kind of a beginning and end to vegetarian. So, with that being said, is a nice segue into our first question, which is, please tell us more about your own personal vegan origin story.
Yeah, my mom is a Buddhist, and she goes to temple, on a weekly basis. She's quite active, and she doesn't eat meat since I was 1 year old. But I, when I hang with like people, friends, classmates, I like a big meat eater, right? So until I was around, 32, 3 years old, and then I've been seeing some documentaries, right? And something doesn't feel right in my heart, and then I try to cut down. For me, it's a process for me, right? Some people, they saw a documentary, boom, and then they're like plant-based vegan. For me, I kind of take it slow, right? I cut down all the red meat consumption and white meat and seafood eventually, but I haven't been drinking like dairy for like so many years, right? So for me, when people ask me. The old version of me, I used to say, oh, it's for health, right? Because it sounds more, it's easier for people to accept, but now it's just one word, it's just justice, right? Sounds like Justin, but it's justice, right? So I believe fairness, I believe in, in equality, right? So I just want to do something that aligns with my core value.
Beautiful. A lot of amazing good can be done within the household. So your mom being a Buddhist and having that compassionate background, and your story is inspiring to a lot of folks, I'm sure, because it doesn't need to be overwhelming thinking it's a light switch on and off. The transitionary process towards vegan plant-based living is, it's inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing. So we're not sure. This is the reason for the question. We don't know if your origin story when it comes to entrepreneurship started with Truspect, or maybe it was as a young kid selling lemonade, or who knows. But why don't you tell us a little bit more about your entrepreneurial spark?
Yeah, so as you all know, accountants, lawyers, doctors, that feel of the traditional professionals. I don't see myself work for big companies climbing up the corporate ladder, right? You wait until the manager or the CFO retire, and then you pick up his or her work and all that. And to be honest, a lot of people, they hated the 9-to-5 job, right? It's like it's the same people every day. It's the same colleagues that you don't like to be working with. So I enjoy the flexibility, and and I like to be able to choose my colleagues and my clients. So so that being an entrepreneur means that I have my own vision, right? I want to use my skill set, which is, a finance guy, right? We can use our skill set to change the world. So it's just a skill. It doesn't matter what kind of skill it is. We believe that, we can use accounting and tax to help people to improve their lifestyle. And, we just mentioned about like choosing the right colleagues and right clients, right? So, yeah, so but if you work for someone else, you basically do what you've been told, right? And that's something that I don't like. So yeah, so I gained my experience, I got my letters, education and all that. So I say, hey, I'm on my own with your partners now. So yeah, that's my little story.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much. So it's not every day that we chat with vegan accountants, right? And so maybe looking at this next question from a finance and accounting whole, what are some trends in your industry?
Totally. I would say using technologies. We are living in a fast-paced world, especially with the COVID, especially what we've been doing right now using Zoom. We are basically on Zoom and team calls every day, and we can get a lot more done. Before the COVID, I have to actually drive to office, get stuck in traffic and find a parking spot and the client's late for 15 minutes. So just one meeting is like 3 hours, right? So, the back and forth and all that. But now with technology, it's making our life easier. So we can do a lot more within a shorter period of time. And the one big thing is that AI and big data is playing a big role in any industry. Is basically disruption of a lot of industry, including our industry. So in the future, I would say within 5-10 years, I would say all the repetitive work will be gone. A lot of lower level accountants and lawyers, they won't have the opportunity to practice, bookkeeping and doing all that, work that computer can be replaced, right? So the good ones would be able to help business owners to do planning and provide them with support and advice, right? No matter how advanced technology is going to be, you don't tell your personal story to a machine or a robot, right? Say, hey, grandma's getting old, she got life insurance, and all that, right? You don't tell a machine that. So instead, I think every accountants and lawyers, we do have to strengthen our communication skill, because some a lot of accountants are actually very technical and they don't enjoy talking to people, right? So I think in the future the communication skill would be very important, right? Because you're dealing with business owner every day, not just doing the reconciliation, the bookkeeping and all that, right? So that is a big trend, because automation will replace a lot of the work, and we just have to follow the trend.
All right, so you heard it here. The trends in the accounting industry are, of course, technology, making it more convenient for folks, but at the same time, that increases the importance of soft communication skills and sort of EQ, or emotional quotient. And I think you said, without saying as well, a trend in accounting is the real strong will survive by shifting to being proactive instead of reactive, and not just being order takers, but actually being creative in the planning process. So that's incredible. That's incredible. So, okay, Truspect Consulting Incorporated, where are you going in the future?
Our tagline is entrepreneur for entrepreneur. So we know how business works, and we know this, we entrepreneur ourselves. So all our clients, most of our clients are business owners. So we basically speak the same language, and we would like to utilize our skill to improve the lives of 1 billion people using accounting tax. And without technology, we cannot do that. So we have to embrace technology, and again, like balancing the technical skill and also the interpersonal skills.
Okay, so everybody, you heard it. Truspect Consulting Incorporated, where they're going in the future, impacting 1 billion people. Amazing, incredible, love it. So no right or wrong answer. Maybe it's something you've done, currently doing, planning to do down the pipeline. No right or wrong answer here, but does Truspect Consulting Incorporated support any charitable organizations?
Yes, we do. We, monthly we donate to Doctors Without Borders, and I myself personally, I used to be a treasurer of a not-for-profit organization. I volunteer for reps. They got, I think, 400 plus cats, and basically I just do all the cleaning, scripting, hang out with the cats. And I also volunteer for AV Vancouver, and they got another name, I think, anonymous for the voiceless. So we just basically carry the TV showing the footage of the slaughterhouse in Robson Square, in downtown basically. So field charitable organization. Yeah.
Wow, what a wide experience in terms of giving back from, using your technical skills as a treasurer for a non-for-profit all the way to boots on the ground, visual activism. Quite a difference. Really, really admirable. That's definitely for sure. Maybe looking at the next question from an entrepreneurship lens, if it's a specific accounting lens, that's great too. No right or wrong answers. But the next one is, what is a book, podcast, or app that you would recommend that folks check out to get a little bit more savvy with your expertise?
Yeah, apps I cannot stop telling people, download Happy Cow, right, with all the, plant-based restaurant. But for entrepreneurship books, definitely the Robert Kiyosaki, The Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Which the system's meant to be training people to be workers and followers, right? Employees, not entrepreneurs, right? Not having any creativities, right? So I would say Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the other one is Robin Sharma, the 5 a.m. Club. So I think a lot of the CEO big companies, they wake up early. They have their routine, meditate, work out, eat healthy. Start the day early. So I think it's human nature to procrastinate and to not stay on top of things. The daily duties and tasks. So it's really important for us to have to have a discipline in everyday life. So once you have the discipline, it becomes good habits and it's hard to get rid of. So when you change something, life will change, everything change. So I'll say wake up early, come up with a routine, follow it, and then after a couple of months you'll see the difference.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and in a couple questions here, we'll get to probably talk a little bit more about what you just mentioned in terms of advice and everything like that. You're right. Carving out time for yourself for the first hour or two of the day, and how that compounds and stacks, stacking for the day. But so what we heard for a book recommendation, Get to Know the Cash Flow Quadrant with Robert Kiyosaki, and then the 5 a.m. Club with Robin Sharma. Happy Cow app. Any podcasts aside from Veg Network in Canada?
For podcasts, I just randomly listen to different motivational speech when I go work out, especially just to start my day. It gets a little bit repetitive actually, but I just like to Google, Tony Robbins, all this kind of motivational speaker. I think that helps. Some of even the plant-based like debate, I like to listen to both sides stories, right? So that we can know as plant-based individual or advocate, like how do we respond to disagreement? Like how do we handle that? And I'm still on the process to learning, right? Obviously, friends, family, not everyone is plant-based. Some of them, they are going, cutting down the consumption, but some of them, they just say, oh, but where do you get your protein, right? Where do you get your B12 and all that? So it's good to, follow a bit of the, base movement, right? Every single day, we're having this, a lot of good news, I would say, closing the BC and mink farm, right? So no more, leather, no more, skinning animals, what they're conscious, right? So yeah, so I think just staying informed, I just go to the podcast on my iPhone and this kind of podcast. It helps.
Awesome. All right, so second to last question for you. Personally, and maybe with your team, there's some chatter around the office and stuff like that, but what or who are some companies that inspire what Truspect Consulting is up to?
Oh, I would say the Beyond Burger, right? They're everywhere now. And yeah, I got a really close friends, and we founded like a plant-based promotion community called Sproutans, and one of the co-founders actually worked for Beyond as well. And I personally invest in a few stocks, like Eats, the Very Good Butcher, right? So I visit the retail store in Victoria, Vancouver Island, a couple of years ago. So I talked to the people, the super awesome people, and I also know the graphic designer of the Very Good Butcher. So all these plant-based amazing companies, right? And also do follow Apple, right? So the products are really quality products. So I would say all this new technology food company, that can replace traditional meat, and it helps people it actually helps meat eater to cut down the consumption, right? Because they getting used to the taste. So I think they're just super amazing. Yeah.
All right, those are excellent, inspiring companies, that's for sure. All right, our last question for you. It feels like we just started talking, a minute ago. Time's flying by. And it's always prefaced by saying, this is not the time to be modest by any means. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. But for entrepreneurs, business owners, whether they're just starting out, whether they're right in the thick of things, maybe looking at an exit in a business, because you do have some extra expertise, I'm sure, with all those different phases of a business. The question is, Hayson, what advice do you have for the entrepreneurs listening?
Yeah, I have to grab a prop. So yeah, healthy business is like a tripod, right? So imagine that you're having this heavy camera, a very expensive $5,000 camera, which is your business, right? Your business basically paying all the bills. Like it pays for all the business operation bills, and also your personal expenses as well. And you don't want to drop your camera. So in order to support that camera, you need this kind of tripod. So a tripod got 3 legs. So the first leg is actually sales and marketing. You have to be able to tell people what you're good at, right? Which I assume that if you're in business, you're quite good doing that. The second leg is actually operations. So are you actually providing good advice, good strategy, and do you make good products? Yes or no, right? I assume that is also a yes, right? That's why you're staying in business. But the third leg, which is a lot of business owner ignore or not, is that actually is the back-end administrative work, including accounting, tax planning, strategy, legal, administrative duties, and even HR, human resource, right? So a lot of business owners, they focus too much on the first 2 legs, and eventually you losing one leg, the business collapse, right? Because you have to take a balance and allocate resource to all these areas. And financial statement, tax return, and bookkeeping, all this is just a roadmap to be able to get your way going. And it's really important to have proper statements so you can make good decisions, right? So when people start their own business, they always say, hey, where do I get clients, right? I'm not being paid. I'm not like having a paycheck from my boss. So that the first thing is they going to go outside, join a lot of networking and get customer and clients, right? And then once they got the clients in, they have to provide good service. They have to do good job, which is okay. But when your business grow, and if you don't invest in like tax planning or accounting, eventually people get plateau, and and they just don't know. Oh, I'm making like $500,000. How come I'm almost I feel I'm going bankrupt, right? Where do I spend all this money, right? So that's why it's really important to work with good accountants, right, and good lawyers, and good financial advisors, so that we all cover, right? And we also mentioned about like the daily behavior, the mindset, the confidence, the discipline, and all that. Persistent hard work. I think everybody can be entrepreneur, and everybody can be very successful with the right resources, manpower, and a good team.
All right. That's excellent advice. And folks, you heard it here. The tripod of business success. Make sure that you're focusing on all 3 areas. And what I heard you say as well was if you really want to go far, we've heard it before, surround yourself with quality folks who can help get you there, and you can help get them there as well. We can't do it all alone. All right. Before we outro you and let people know where they can find out more and get in contact with you, you had mentioned something about a group called the Sproutans. Maybe you want to speak a little bit quickly on that, and anything else that may have been missed. The floor is yours.
Right. Thank you, Justin. Yeah. So we founded a community named Sproutans. So before the COVID, we have done a lot of. Well, let's talk about the vision for a bit. So our vision is to, kind of we just want to speed up the process, right? Plant-based movement, and we believe in non-judgmental, inclusive environment, so people can feel that they're not 2 inches tall when they join our events, right? We all learning here, right? So that when we host a lot of events, people can meet other people, right, on the same journey, and they can do it while having fun, right? So we host a lot of events such as documentary watching, discussions after, right? We host a plant-based barbecue, and then we work with City of Vancouver and did a short cleanup. We pick a lot of garbage on the sand, and we also host some vegan cooking class, right? And some people they just foodie, they love food and say, hey, wow, the food is super amazing, right? And every year we got like an annual year-end vegan potluck, right? So people can actually gather and think about what kind of food they're going to be making. We discourage, takeouts, right? Try to think about what kind of dish that you'll be bringing. So, but now because of COVID, we kind of, take a short break, and now we're thinking about what kind of support we'll be providing, right? So we're on Facebook, Instagram, and we also got our own WhatsApp group chat, and we've been always sharing, all this plant-based news, right? So let's say for me, obviously I have to wear suits and leather shoes, but I purchased my leather shoes on, I think it's called Will's Vegan store online. I think they're from the UK. They use mushroom and pineapple or cactus skin to make, so we don't have to use calves or cow skin. We can use that instead. So we have been sharing all this kind of amazing resource and information. And yeah, when people see the option, animal suffering versus not, so obviously, how they choose. So yeah, so it's been really amazing community to be involved. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we cannot wait to host more, fun events and have people to come to join.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing more about that Sproutans community, so people can get in touch with you and find out more about that, because that is really, really important for that connection piece with everything that everybody's been going through over the last little bit. It's only going to continue to be more important. And of course, why we're all here on a professional side, for anybody listening, looking for excellent CPA wisdom and advice for your business, make sure that you do reach out to Hayson. You can find out more online, www.truspect.consulting.com, and that's just how it sounds, TRUSPECT, truspectconsulting.com. Hayson, it was a pleasure here. Thank you for being here at Veg Networking Canada.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
See you guys later.